15, slot right, single receiver, Hester to the left. Press coverage, snap to Haney, throws it over the middle. Intercepted! Intercepted! B.J. Raji in the end zone for the touchdown! NFC Championship dagger! Blitz is on, Rodgers scrambles left, winds up Rainbow. He's got Cobb at the 10 to the 5 to the end zone. Touchdown and a dagger! Aaron Rodgers ducks it under center, drops to a knee, and time melts away from Super Bowl 45. The title is back in town. The Green Bay Packers are world champions of football.
The Wisconsin Sports Trilogy presents the Packers Trilogy Podcast.
Hey yo, Packer fans, what's going on? Welcome to the Packers Trilogy Podcast presented by the Wisconsin Sports Trilogy, the podcast for diehard Packer fans by diehard Packer fans. I am your host, Trevor. You can find me on Twitter at Bender_Trevor. And I am finally joined by Tyler, aka T Plush. He is the host of the Brewers Trilogy Podcast. You can find his writing for reviewing the Brew on Twitter as well. Best way to follow him at Tyler Kurth. And the best way to get all of our podcasts is at Trilogy_pod, where we're sharing all of that stuff, as you know, on YouTube. Subscribe to us there, Wisconsin Sports Trilogy, and on Facebook as well. We are the Wisconsin Sports Trilogy Podcast. Today, we are going to look at some film, and I am excited to have Tyler with me today. It's been a long time coming. I just wanted to make sure that I knew how to do videos and record them and edit them and put them together before I added another human with me. But Tyler, how are you doing?
I'm doing really good. I'm excited to be here, talk a little bit about Matt LaFleur, and yeah, we did some test runs a couple weeks ago that obviously wasn't posted, but ready to do this and make my YouTube debut.
Yeah, it's kind of nerve-wracking. Like, it's one thing to record the podcast when there's no camera on you, but now it's a little weird. And just for you people that don't know, typically we haven't been recording with video. Probably something with guests we'll do a little bit more often. And now with our YouTube channel, we'll probably do that a little bit more often, but not something we're used to. So actually looking at Tyler right now is a little bit of a weird thing. All right, but let's get into this. And as you said, Tyler, we are going to look at Matt LaFleur and not only his play calling, but his play design. And really, once we get down to it, I also think that we're going to talk about a little bit about execution from the players, because I think they're doing a phenomenal job. So let's start here. Allen Lazard at the bottom of your screen is going to go in motion, and it's just basically a jet sweep, but it's technically a pass. And I love this play. I love this action from Matt LaFleur. I love the let's get motion going one way, fake the handoff the other, and it just leaves defensive linemen in no man's zones, as you're going to see here on the next play. Watch that defensive lineman just absolutely confused. Even when Allen Lazard has the ball, he doesn't know where the ball is going, which is just incredible stuff from Matt LaFleur. What are your thoughts of this kind of concept, play design from Matt LaFleur, and the execution from the players?
Well, I love the play design. I was watching all the linemen there, and everyone, even Robert Tonyan, who ends up blocking to the right, takes their first step to the left. And then, of course, Tonyan cups back up right and becomes one of the lead blockers. I mean, execution-wise, it's just so fast. I mean, Lazard is cruising by, and he's probably on the right hip of Bakhtiari when the ball is snapped, and the defense literally has no clue how to react. And you got Aaron Jones, of course, cutting to the left, so it's very good play design.
Yeah, I agree. Obviously, that one from the Vikings game, we're going to have 3 more plays from this Vikings game. I actually was pretty impressed with the amount of time it took me to find these. It did not take as long as you would think to go through and find these great plays, because Matt LaFleur has done such a great job of designing these type of plays. So here's another one in that Vikings game, and it's actually quite similar. This time you get Allen Lazard on an orbit type of play, and this actually isn't in motion. He just goes on the snap count. So you watch here, comes around, again, action one way for the running back, and then give it to your wide receiver going the opposite way. Watch Josiah DeGuara here. We mentioned this on the full-length podcast. Takes out 2 guys, absolutely a key block to allow that to go for more than 10 yards. Just absolutely incredible stuff all the way around. And Tyler, while you're talking, just because I love this play and this clip so much, I'm just going to keep this going as you talk through this. And what are your thoughts of this play?
Man, it's incredible to watch all those Vikings players just go to the opposite direction that the play is actually going. Even the safety that gets taken out there at the end of the play is creeping would be to his right, and then Josiah DeGuara there, as he pointed out, takes out both of them with one block. So incredible stuff there.
Yeah, I absolutely love that play. I think it's incredible stuff from not only Matt LaFleur, but as we've mentioned, the execution is so there. It is great to see that. I absolutely love the block from DeGuara. Again, it helps spring him. Not that it's a 50-yard touchdown run or anything like that, but when you have those actions, those type of plays, it makes it hard on a defense because now anytime there's motion, you have to respect that. Allen Lazard's not the guy you would expect to be the player to be doing that. You'd expect Tyler Ervin or Devontae Adams, maybe MVS at times just because of his sheer speed. But Allen Lazard's not really a guy that you'd expect that from. But Matt LaFleur had went to him multiple times in that Vikings game, as you've seen so far. And here, let's go to another play. This time, we got Devontae in motion, again, coming from the bottom of your screen. And I love this play. Again, very similar type of thing. You're getting a run action to the offense's right, and then Devontae is just basically on a swing screen here. And you mentioned the defense before. Look at all those Vikings defenders just absolutely getting sucked into that run. It's incredible. All of them. It's awesome to see. Devontae makes a man miss. That's a touchdown. He doesn't, and it's still a nice play. Again, I'm going to let this clip run because I love this play design from Matt LaFleur. But what are your thoughts of this one, which is still a similar type of play, but definitely different in terms of the execution and the actual design of it?
Yeah, and this was a really heavy motion game by Matt LaFleur. And as you watch here, Bakhtiari lets that edge guy go. So like if it would have been similar to those jet motions we did previously, there'd be a chance Adams could get tackled at the line of scrimmage. So just having him go out a little bit further gives him a little bit more separation and creates a little bit more yards after the catch there.
Yeah, I can't get over that play. I love that they get Devontae, like he's completely wide open. When you send a guy in motion, typically you're going to get a off coverage of sorts. You're not going to be able to be in press man. So that allows Devontae to have space to catch the ball, make the play. And as you noted, you don't have to block everyone because of the action that you're doing. Aaron Rodgers gets the ball out of his hands so quick. It's fun to watch these innovative type of plays because it's something that we haven't seen from a Green Bay Packers offense. I don't know. Like at first in the Mike McCarthy offense, it might have been some innovative type of stuff, but the last 5 years, I don't think there was a lot of that. So it's exciting to see that sort of thing happening. And it really is incredible because you're going to see a lot of that in this video. We're on play 4 of 15. So here you see another jet motion. They give it to Tyler Ervin here. Instead of, I still think they do have that action with A.J. Dillon the other way. And boom, Jay Sternberger lets his guy go, and Tyler Ervin just beats him to the edge. Absolutely incredible stuff. Tyler, again, it's a lot of the same type of stuff, but what are you seeing here?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the tight end out there. This time Sternberger doing a really good job blocking. And if I remember correctly, all 3 tight ends were like per Pro Football Focus rated like well above average in blocking this game. But then you talk about execution. Well, there's also execution on the other side too. When you're faking the handoff, those guys are still blocking and the running back's still cutting like he has the ball. So the defense just truly, falls for it because the Packers are faking it all the way to the whistle.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm going to show here, you talked about Sternberger blocking. Allen Lazard out here with Sternberger, they do a good job. If you watch Tyler Ervin right before he gets to the edge, they do a good job of kind of walling it off and letting him get to that edge. So I'll just play it here. Again, there's no one there. Obviously, players can catch up and make the play, but it's incredible, the design and then the players executing to perfection. I absolutely love that. And like we've been mentioning, it's not just the play design. It's not just the play call, the right times to do them. It's the players have to execute on the field. That's what it always comes down to with NFL football. Players just have to execute, and the Green Bay Packers are doing that to an absolutely phenomenal level this year. Let's move ahead to this Lions game. And here is the fifth play that we're going to look at. Again, of course, we're going to see that motion. This time they actually hand it off. And not a big play by any means, but I like this view of this because the hole is there. Unfortunately, the defensive lineman was just able to get off Elton Jenkins' block, and he made a good play by himself there. But the hole was there until he sheds that block. And again, it's the design of it. The execution wasn't quite there on this one, but you see the design, and you see that design is working to perfection.
Yeah, I really do. And I mean, it's all about the illusion of complexity. I mean, that's basically one of the first couple of plays we looked at in the Vikings game where they gave it to Lazard there on that little touch pass, except now it's to Aaron Jones. So, I mean, the Packers can probably branch off this play in a million different ways, and they might run the same motion, but you're going to hit someone different every time. It's awesome.
Yeah, I love that illusion of complexity, and that's why basically all 5 of these plays have been a very similar type of play. The same action, they're just doing something slightly different, whether it be with that orbit motion and pitching it back, or shoveling it to Allen Lazard on the jet motion, or throwing it to Davante Adams on a swing screen. Like, everything is different, even though it all looks very, very similar. Like, the offensive linemen basically have one play that they need to know how to do, and then the rest is just, changing up what the skill position players are doing ever so slightly and giving it to a different player on a certain play. Let's go ahead to our next play here. You see him tightening up. This one is a little bit longer before the actual snap count because I wanted to show Aaron Rodgers kind of moving these guys to a tight formation. And this is the third down. They highlighted it on the broadcast. And they bring him in tight, and Aaron Rodgers knows it's man-to-man. And there is no one – they can't keep up with MVS because the man is just behind everyone in that bunch formation. So this one, completely different, completely just a pass play, not a run to a pass type of action or anything like that. But you see the design and just bringing in those players closer together. You see that type of work here. And again, I'll run through this play again. You notice MVS on the outside of the formation, and that helps him get across without no one being able to cover him at all.
Yeah, there's no way that defender who was basically, as you were stopping the recording, he was 10 yards off MVS right as the ball was snapped. And then you got the other 2 guys who are basically kind of like a security blanket to prevent him from getting there. It's kind of like those screenplays, but just slightly different. I mean, when you have the middle of the field open, Rodgers is going to pick you apart. And like Davante Adams said in the offseason, the Lions are terrible at disguising their coverage. So that's just a veteran quarterback doing what he does best.
Yeah, bringing them tight and then knowing that they're in man coverage. And like you mentioned, he is 10 yards off the line of scrimmage. And there's not a chance when basically those other 2 guys, I think it was Tanyan and Lazard, basically they're just out there to block. Obviously you can't block until MVS catches it, but that's basically their job on that play. They know they're not catching the ball, and that's that execution team play that we've continued to see from this team time in and time out. And let's go ahead to our next play here. And again, we get that jet action, now a play action play. This is a little bit frustrating. Jace, you got to catch this football, but it's the design, right? We're talking about Matt LaFleur and the design. Look at this. There is no one. And again, you can see what's ahead of Jace, or the lack of what is ahead of Jace here from this angle a little bit better. He's just got to make the play, and that is frustrating, but he's shown signs of he's kind of coming back, and his hands are coming around. But this play design, this is something we've known we're going to see from Matt LaFleur, this tight end type of leak stuff, right?
Yeah, it really is. And I mean, for every every play, Matt LaFleur likes a pass, a run, and a play action off of it. I mean, in this play, Tanyan's starting on the left side of the line, and there's nobody there. So yeah, very frustrating. But dude, if he catches that ball, he's going for a long ways. And he had a couple of them in this game, what I remember.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Jared Davis would have caught him there because outside of that, there might have been a safety deep. But other than that, there was a whole lot of green in front of him. That would have been a huge play, and one that everyone would have highlighted from the jump, But it's definitely something that Matt LaFleur deserves some credit on that play design. And like you mentioned, there's always a run, there's a pass, and there's a play action play off of every sort of action. And to that point, I think there's at least two runs. There's that jet motion run. There's the handoff to the back, whatever it happens to be. But it's fun to see that type of, complexity from an offense that really is not all that complex. They run the same plays, but it's just so different. This is another one that's kind of like the NBS stuff. So Rodgers changes the formation a little bit, puts Aaron Jones in between Lazard and Lewis, and it's basically just running a pick play. The other guys on the other side of the field are coming across to get in the way of the defenders, and you can't call a pick because they're actually running routes, which is low-key a very important part of this. But look at how wide open he is there. That defender's like 8 yards away when he catches that football. And when Aaron Jones is the one catching the football, good luck stopping this Packers offense and stopping him for less than 20 yards, because that's just not going to happen with the playmaking of Aaron Jones. This is stuff I absolutely love to watch. So I'll let you talk about this play while we just watch Aaron Jones just destroy this Lions defense.
Yeah, I think Aaron Jones is the key here. I think Rodgers recognized early that this is man again, and to get Aaron Jones on a linebacker, I mean, that's a no-brainer. I mean, even if it would have ended up being someone else, one of those other guys coming across the middle field is going to be open eventually there. Just Rodgers recognized the mismatch and took advantage of it here.
Yeah, I just love these designs. And like I said, that one's very, very similar to that MVS third down play. I'm not sure that one was on third down, but just great stuff from Matt LaFleur in this offense. Let's go ahead to the Saints game. I have 3 clips from this Saints game. This one, again, no surprise, we get that jet motion. This time we got basically a tight end leak, but to our wide receiver, Allen Lazard. This was very, very early on. I believe this was like the first or second play of the game in the Saints game, but it breaks it out early. There's still that possibility of the jet sweep. There's still the possibility of the handoff, and then Allen Lazard coming across the field, which is scarier than tight ends coming across the field, right?
Yeah, I mean, play action's the way to go in the NFL these days, and I mean, it's just a smart play. I mean, I think you talk about execution. We hadn't seen in years previous Rodgers just be like, okay, I'm going to throw the ball. It's like a 3 or 4 yard throw there, but you get so many yards after the catch. So that's just good recognition by Rodgers there.
Yeah, I agree. And it's got to be so easy for him. Like he doesn't have to think when guys are that wide open, and that's what Matt LaFleur is doing to him. And you can see Aaron Rodgers trusting that more. We see less of the really spread them out type of five wide receivers. Granted, the Packers can't do that this year because they only kept 5, so you're not going to see that very often, if ever. But that's really awesome stuff from Matt LaFleur, and having Aaron Rodgers trust that is exciting in itself as well. So let's check out this next play from the Saints game. No surprise, we got some motion, and here is a play action deep shot. You'll remember this. It's the big play to Allen Lazard. I like watching this from behind the offense because really you see Lazard the whole time. Play action, Lazard just sprints up the field, and the defender has to respect the run because the Packers run the ball well. And then Allen Lazard's just by him, and if he doesn't trip or have to dive, for the ball, it's a touchdown because I feel like he's losing his footing there a little bit. And then that causes him not to score the touchdown, which was a little problem in this game for Allen Lazard, but definitely something that was very, very impressive on this play. You know, you mentioned play action is king in the NFL right now, and that's exactly what happened on this play.
Yeah, I mean, it's even more king because watch Jenkins here. He, boom, takes 2 or 3 steps in, has to respect the run, and goes, oh, crap, I have deep help, and by that time it's way too late. I mean, things happen that quick. So, I mean, he's a tremendous player too. So even he couldn't keep up with that. But if there's no play action there, he's most likely in position to make a play on Lazard, or Aaron Rodgers doesn't throw the ball. So play action, as you alluded to there, it's key and it's king.
Yeah, it definitely is. And you mentioned Jenkins, and Marshawn Lattimore, who is not a slouch at corner, was the cornerback on the coverage too. So that's 2 good players that you're kind of making them make a play, which is not easy when it's this offense with that, again, that illusion of complexity is such a big asset for this team, and it is awesome. So now we're going to watch Allen Lazard get that touchdown here. And it's a version of like a tight end leak type of play because the cornerback just doesn't stand a chance, but it's not like right on the line of scrimmage. He actually does go out on a crossing route there. But this time, I'm going to point out here on this next clip, this guy knows what's coming. He knows Rodgers is going out here, and he makes Rodgers throw a lot faster than what he wants to. Rodgers still makes the play because Allen Lazard is absolutely wide open, and that is a credit to Matt LaFleur.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, it's such a good play to call in the red zone here where the field is shrunken a little bit now, and then you got those 2 guys zigzagging in the middle there. And like you mentioned, he has to throw it a little bit faster than what he wants to. But I think Saints did a good job picking up Tanyan, but of course you can't cover everyone in this offense. So great play design.
Yeah, and that's impressive that you're trying to, because I imagine the first read is Tanyan. I imagine Tanyan is the guy that they're trying to get open. But the fact that Allen Lazard is that wide open as a number 2 option, and credit the Saints doing a good job of getting Tanyan covered, but just awesome stuff. And that really did make me happy because Allen Lazard was carrying my fantasy team that week. And if he didn't get a touchdown on that drive, I was not going to be a happy camper. So I'm glad they had that kind of second option. And I'm glad, I don't know what linebacker that was, but him making that play to force Aaron Rodgers to throw it faster than what he anticipated, and the linebacker that was covering Tanyan, both allowed that to help my fantasy team. So I appreciate that, Saints. That is exactly what I want to see. All right, let's move ahead to the most recent game against the Falcons here. And I like this motion type, this action here from Aaron Jones. I just love that little bit of action, 2 running backs in the backfield. You know, you send one out, you can easily hand it off there, or you swing it on a little bubble screen. You have 2 blockers who are not going out on routes. They're strictly blocking, and you get Aaron Jones in space. Love the play call. Love the play design here.
Gosh, yeah. Play action, quick pass, the whole line's going away from the ball. I mean, again, it's that whole team buying in and knowing they know what's coming, but they also know they need to avert the other defenders away from where the ball's going to go. So tremendous execution.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think throughout all of these plays, you know, I'm not going to highlight play calling and play design and put in plays that have terrible execution. So you're going to see the good plays here, but for the most part, you see these type of play call and play design that work all the time and are very good most of the time. And I think Matt LaFleur will be the first one to tell you that he's struggled a little bit with, you know, 4th down play calling has been hit and miss here. But that's something that I think will continue to improve. You know when they need a yard, like they're really good on 3rd down. So eventually I think that 4th down rate is going to improve. But that's one thing that hasn't been great. Let's move ahead to our next play here. So Tyler Irvin's going to go in motion, and we're going to hand it off. And I'm going to highlight this. I can't remember what play it is. I think it's the next play. I'm going to highlight. Oh, nope, it was that play. Those 3 players there. Watch them all take a step to the motion, and then 45 actually does get back in and make the play, or is a part of the play. But just the amount of steps it takes to get them over allows Aaron Jones to get a pretty easy with that nice cutback, 9-10 yards on the play. So it's a combination of having Aaron Jones in the backfield, but also that action that just leaves that zone wide open for him to take advantage of.
Yeah, and it's that motion that gets the edge defender out of containment there. I mean, that's what opens up part of the cutback there. And if there was no motion going across there, he's probably in position to make a play a lot closer to the line of scrimmage. So we'll take it.
Yeah, definitely. I just love this action. I love that 3 defenders, like you don't have to block 3 defenders and you get 10 yards on this play, because that action confuses them so much, gets them so much out of position. That's crazy to me. That's crazy that is what happens when this Packers team is on and they're playing well, they're executing well. That's just what happens with this Packers team this year, because the play design is so good and the execution has been absolutely phenomenal. And we've said it for the last 25 minutes, that this play design, calling, and execution has been incredible. Here we get orbit motion from Malik Taylor. They have to respect that. And then Aaron Jones just takes it for, 22 yards, 25 yards, something like that. Just great stuff. You see on this end zone view that 45 still was a little hesitant, and he cannot make the play there because of that orbit motion. He has to respect it because they use it so much that you have to respect that motion.
Yeah, and even if the Packers went the other way with this play to Malik Taylor, he's got a one-on-one opportunity there. If he makes whoever was guarding him miss, he's likely in the end zone himself. So they really could have went either way with this one.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is those first 3 plays from the Falcons game, I'm pretty sure all 3 of those were on the first drive or maybe the second drive. It was incredible. Like I was trying to get 3 to 4 plays from each one of these games, and I had the first 3 in the first drive. I was like, wait, we have to go to the second drive here. But even still, within the first half of the first quarter, I was able to get 4 clips that I thought were worthy of this review of the play design and the play calling from Matt LaFleur. So just incredible stuff. This one is more not necessarily a play design or a play calling. This is, let's just watch our guys make the play. And I'm going to highlight here, and the next time you're going to watch this is the Jamal Williams play, which if Jamal Williams is doing this, we broke the NFL, I think, because this is not fair. This is something Tyler Ervin should be able to do. This is something Aaron Jones should be able to do. But to have a third running back, you have 3 running backs out there. Tyler Ervin in motion, Jamal Williams split out, and then Aaron Jones running the seam route. Just I dumbfounded by this offense and the fact that Jamal Williams can now make that play.
I mean, you had all 3 running backs on the same side of the field there, and you could have argued you could have dumped it out to Irvin. But the fact that you have Jamal Williams, like you said, making this play, I mean, that just opens up the possibilities even more. It's crazy. That's a heck of a grab.
It was a phenomenal play. And like you said, the guys on that side of the field were running backs. You had Tyler Ervin on the swing route. As I mentioned, Aaron Jones on the kind of seam routes from the backfield, and then Jamal Williams just kind of floating out towards the sidelines. And the closest player to them was Robert Tonyan, who was out for a pass, who was on the other side of the field at the numbers almost by the time Jamal Williams caught that. So they very clearly thought that was an advantage to them to have those players on that side of the field and have them alone out there. They thought that was something that would be beneficial for them, and it obviously was. And the fact that Jamal Williams is making that play is just really, really exciting for Packer fans. It is awesome to see, and something that got me giddy when I watched that, because I thought I was done putting plays on this until I saw that play again, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's going on there, because that is just an awesome thing for this offense to see. Before we get out of here, Tyler, do you have anything else regarding Matt LaFleur, his play calling, play design, all of those types of things?
I mean, it's a lot of buy-in like we talked about. I mean, everyone thought Aaron Rodgers was, going to be the hard one to sell in year one. But, I mean, in year two, it's execution. It's the whole team. I mean, I'd have to go back and rewatch last year to see how well the players were executing going away from the ball. I don't know that for sure, but it's something that's extremely noticeable this year. We pointed it out on pretty much all of our films here this time. So, I mean, if the Packers can keep that up, I mean, this offense is going to be a cheat code the rest of the year.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know how you can be more excited for this Packers team because, like we highlighted here, like we've talked about on our full-length podcast seemingly every week, this offense is fun to watch. It is very exciting, and that is awesome. And like I said, I don't know how you can not be excited for this team, but if you aren't, I hope this helps because Matt LaFleur has been incredible. Aaron Rodgers is playing at MVP caliber worthy play. Aaron Jones is incredible. You're getting Devontae Adams back, who was very good in that week 1 game. He was pretty good in the week 2, although they didn't feature him very much until he got hurt. But I am just super excited about this team and what they can do moving forward. But until we get back to you, and we're previewing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, so make sure you check that out on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, iTunes, wherever you find your podcast. Make sure you guys are checking that out. We will be having that out on Thursday morning, as we always do, so make sure you're checking that out. And follow us on Twitter at Trilogy_pod. That's the easiest way to get all of our podcasts, including the Brewers Trilogy podcast, where we are to 1 day a week now that the Brewers are no longer a part of it. I know, sad. But make sure you guys are checking that out. Follow us on Twitter, again, at Trilogy_pod. Subscribe here. That would mean a lot to Tyler and I. We would really appreciate it. Follow us on Facebook, where we're posting all of our content as well. Follow Tyler at Tyler Kurth. Follow myself at Bender_Trevor. And until next time, go Pack Go.
Justin Jones.